Hello. How are you? This is Els coming from Bemis Crafty Corner, and today we're going to do a very quick project. Now, I originally saw this on another channel, and she used book pages, and I thought, you know, book pages are great, but they're not very sturdy. So I decided to do it out of cardstock. So I have some cardstock and some pretty cardstock on here, and what this is basically is it's like a double pocket and it has a hidden flip. So let me show you. Let me get this one out of the way. So if you glue this down, if you glue this down, you would have a pocket back here, and then you have a pocket here, and then you have a flip here, so you can journal in here, okay? Which is why I decided to do this in cardstock, because you can write on this. It's kind of hard to write on a book page. So I'm going to get you a project list for supplies, and then we're going to walk through this. Best part, you can make 2 of these from one piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So I'll be back in just a moment to show you all of the things you may need to complete this. So, a given, paper trimmer. Going to need a paper trimmer. You're going to want some cardstock, whatever weight you want. If you want to use 110, 85, 65, whatever you want to use. And if you want to use this kind of cardstock, this is going to work for this, okay? So if you want to use like single-sided regular cardstock, it's going to work, okay? Scoreboard, scoring tool, bone folder, corner rounders, optional. You're going to need some glue, ink, and a dauber, and possibly a pair of scissors, and some ephemera. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to get this stuff out of the way and get my cutter up, and we'll get the cuts done, and then we'll get started. Be right back. Okay, so we're going to use the 12-inch cutter, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a sheet of 8.5 by 11, and we're just going to cut it in half at 4 1/4. Okay. That's the first cut. Okay. Now, to make the smaller, as you noticed, I did have two sizes here. We have a large one and a smaller one. So to make the 2 sizes, I'm going to give you the measurements. So it's 4 1/4 for the little one. It's going to be 4 1/4 and then 7 3/8. 7 3/4. So we'll cut that off there. Save that because you can use that for a tag. So that's going to be your first one, okay? And then the second one, and this one's a little trickier. This one is going to be 10 inches long. And this is 11 inches, and this cutter does not cut an inch. So I'm just going to grab this one real quick and just take an inch off of here. Okay? That can be saved. You may use it, you may not. Alright, I'm going to get rid of the big cutter, and we're going to move into getting out our scoreboard and doing some scoring, and any other cutting that we need to do, we can really do on the small cutter, okay? Alright, so I'm going to bring my scoreboard in. We're going to start with the little one, okay? And you'll see this has like a Z fold, which is why it works for single-sided cardstock. Alright, so you're going to score on this piece along the long edge at 2 1/4, and then at 4 1/2. So it's like 2 1/4 and then 2 1/4, and then you're going to pick this up. First thing you're going to do is you're going to fold this back. Make sure you get it all nice and even, and then go over it with your bone folder. And then you're going to flip it the other way. Right? Easy peasy. So that's the smaller pocket. So now the longer pocket, we're going to put that in again, long edge against the top of our scoreboard. And for this one, we're going to go at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. So 2 3/4. And then we're going to go all the way over to the end here to 5 1/2. Same thing. We're going to take the first one, we're going to fold it, Press that, and then we're going to fold it the opposite direction. So again, you have kind of a Z fold, okay? Now we're going to be cutting some mats for this. So we want to cut a mat here, and we want to cut a mat to go up here. If you're using dark cardstock, you may want to cut something that goes here to write on, but it's not necessary if you're using a lighter colored cardstock. So I'm going to get everything out of the way, get my little cutter out, and we're going to go ahead and cut some paper for this, okay? All right, so we know that this is 4 1/4, so we're going to cut a piece that's 4 inches wide, and this is 2 1/4, so we're going to cut a piece that's 2 inches. So 2 inches this way by 4 inches this way, and we're going to be mindful of our pattern, okay? So let's cut this down to 4. And then we'll cut a piece that is 2. And the piece that's left is actually going to work here, so we're going to use the little one first. So if you want to ink, now would be a good time. And don't always ink with brown. You know, pick out a different color. This one, I'm going to ink brown. So I'm just going to ink around my edges. Now, if I want to round corners, now would be the time to do that before I do the inking. If not, you know, I'm just going to put it on there. Now, if you want a wider frame, then by all means, leave a 1/4 of an inch instead of an 1/8 of an inch, okay? The measurements I'm giving you are going to give you that 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And I'm using glue on this because it's cardstock, so it's thick. All right, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to find my first little piece here, and I'm just going to center this. And then I'm going to ink this edge, and this edge, that edge, and I'm going to ink this bottom flap. Ink inside if you want to, but it's not necessary. But I'm going to ink this top piece as well. Now this piece does not have to go, you know, it doesn't have to fit all the way down into the bottom. So if it's a scrap piece, don't worry about it if you leave like a 1/4 of an inch at the bottom. I am going to cut this down because this piece is 3 1/4, so I'm going to cut it down to 3 1/8. And that will make this fit very nice right there. But before I do this, what I'm going to do is find where I want it to be. I'm going to move it up, and I'm going to put my finger piece in here. I'm going to find what I think is pretty much center. I'm going to take that piece out, and then I'm going to go ahead and ink this. And I'm going to ink that. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this in. And then I'm going to center this right there. Now all that's left to do is to close this up. So with this piece folded down, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here and a little bit of glue over here. And then I'm just going to bring this up. Now, if I wanted to, I could miter this. You know, I could put my little piece in there. So I could make this pocket a little thicker. But I'm not overly concerned with that. So now, if I glue this onto a page in my journal, I would want to glue a piece, you know, glue it here, here, and here, and then glue that down, and then that would give me another pocket. Right now I have 2 pockets. Okay? That's it. That's like, this is a quick one, guys. Okay? I'm going to do this other one real quick off camera. So these are the 2 we just did. This is the one we did together, where I put the finger notch in and we moved everything down. And you've got a little place in here to write, and then you can have a pocket here, and if you glue this down, you'll have a pocket in the back. And then I have this one here. This is the one that I just did off camera. This is the larger of the 2 pieces, and you can see it's just a little bit taller. And with this one, I used some Dollar Tree stickers here, just to add a little bit, and I used some paper out of Butterfly Kisses. So this is a perfect 6x6 project. The larger piece takes a mat that is 4 inches, fits perfectly, by 4 inches across for both of them, and it is 2.5 here and 4 inches for the back. So 4 by 4, 4 by 2.5. Okay, so I will have, of course, all the measurements and the score lines and everything in the description box below, as well as a link to the original video where I saw this, if you want to go and check that out using the book pages. That's it, guys. That's all for me today. Listen, if you're new here and you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me, like me, ring my bell, and share me with all your friends, and then your friends can be my friends, and my friends can be your friends, and our friends can get to be friends, and before you know it, we have a giant, friendly crafting community. Until I see you again, stay safe. Bye-bye.